Thank you. Good morning and good evening. I'm truly honored and I feel privileged that I've been invited in this forum to speak. I am Rasheq Rahman. I'm a member of the Publicity Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League. And today I believe the discussed topic is, as a matter of fact, the most befitting topic that we could have a discussion on. And as I was listening to the discussions of the previous speakers, my realization is that in true sense, the ramifications of post-COVID situation, we are still far away from being able to assess what are the effects or consequences are going to be. By this, what I mean, most of the countries who are trying to face the crisis of COVID-19, or for that matter, coronavirus, they are coming up with different stimulus, federal assistance and all that. So the real ramification would be seen once this phase will come to an end. So by that, what I mean, that the real economic strength that shall remain at its net, we shall see that maybe after 6 months. So first of all, I believe as political workers, politicians, policymakers, our foreign policy initiatives should keep this in mind, that what we see today is actually far from what we shall see tomorrow. And also, one thing has come in the open, that as this world is divided into 3 main genres of countries, like let's say developed, developing, and underdeveloped. When COVID-19 hit us, we have all seen that at the end of the day, none of the nations that we are familiar with could really face this situation with the kind of effectiveness that was desired. So what I mean by that is that yes, we have WMDs, we have immense deposits of natural resources. However, at the end of the day, in true sense, the focus of scientific work or scientific development, research, and a part of that would be the health system, our tertiary level health system, was in true sense absent in the entire globe. As a result, even now we see that we are not in a position to face or fight COVID-19 as far as the treatment is concerned, the medicine is concerned, or a vaccine is concerned, or for that matter, a medical protocol is concerned. What we are doing is we are basically trying to manage our way through. We are trying to curb the rate of infection. We are trying to curb the rate of death. And we are coming up with certain ways of keeping ourselves safe, which are not also proven to be 100% fail-safe. So in the coming days, a country like Bangladesh, if it needs to prosper and if it needs to go forward, and if it needs to realize the dream of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, our father of the nation, our great leader, and now the dream that is being realized by her, or by his daughter, Sheikh Hasina, what we need to focus on is that our foreign policy needs to be driven by scientific components. So we need to make ties, friendships, alliance, and for that matter, interactive relationships needs to be built, where Bangladesh would actually benefit from, how would I say, scientific benefits. So it cannot be conventional trade and commerce based foreign policy. It cannot be conventional strategic consideration based foreign policy. Rather, now we need to look for new alliances, new nations who are actually focused on scientific development. Bangladesh has everything to flourish. We have a huge pool of manpower, and within that manpower, we have, I would say, a flourishing, growing, skilled pool of manpower, which is extremely necessary. We must thank our ICT advisor, Sajib Bajaj Joy, for the fact that during COVID-19, we have seen that the digital Bangladesh, the platform that he actually envisioned, for which today, from Bangladesh especially, we are connected still with the world, and all over the country, from Teknaf to Tetulia, we have been able to drive our political activity, we have been able to drive our economic activity, we have been able to give our administrative directions. For that matter, relief work could be administered properly, and the country did not go into haywire. Bangabandhu's daughter, our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, could actually contain the entire nation when many other nations actually went into a haywire situation. So we must thank on that aspect. So what I'm saying, that all the factors that are there, they're in position. All we now need is a point of launch or ignition after the COVID-19 situation is gone. And that would be a new focus, that Bangladesh would be a science-dependent country. Bangladesh would be a country where his friends, besides our natural friends who are there over historic times, we would find new people who are willing to invest in science and technology. So that's my belief. That's how the foreign policy should be derived. And only then, because I have a belief, I may be wrong, I believe that even the vaccine made available to the entire population for COVID-19 will actually not resolve the situation. The reason being, the rate of evolution of human beings is not as fast as evolution of the virus kingdom. So today there is COVID-19, tomorrow there'll be COVID-20, day after tomorrow there's going to be COVID-21. So after every certain specific time span, we will always find ourselves facing an unknown enemy, virus, for which we might fall into this kind of dire situation again. So what we need to realize, that this is not the end of it, this is only the beginning. So we must prepare ourselves. And in that, domestically speaking, internationally speaking, there has to be a handshake. And the basis and foundation of the handshake would be science. And however, another thing to be noticed, you have seen that already in the United States of America, right now I'm in the USA, there is a rise of intolerance. You have seen the looting in big cities like Chicago and all that. Why I'm raising this situation? That is due to a long-term exposure in COVID-19, loss of job, loss of business, rise of uncertainty and everything has somewhat given rise to mental depression, intolerance, and we are a little bit more prone towards violence. So I also anticipate that there would be more unrest in the world. I also anticipate there would be more religious unrest. Why? Because if we take Bangladesh into example, you see a rational, logical person would try to maintain social distancing. A rational, logical person would try to remain at home, and he would try to be safe. But at the end of the day, there are certain fanatics, religious fundamentalist people in our country, and I'm sure there are similar group of people in other countries. For them, social distancing has no meaning. For them, hand sanitizer has no meaning. For them, staying away from a person, maintaining a 6 feet distance doesn't have any meaning. So they will not cease in doing what they are doing. And on the other hand, a rational group of people will fall behind. So we must take this also into account, that how do we mitigate these kind of religious unrest from boundary to boundary? How do we extend cooperation on a transboundary basis? So our foreign policy needs to address that also. I will not linger my delivery any longer because I have to participate in a TV program within the next 5 minutes. So at the end of my delivery, basically our foreign policy in the coming days has to address 3 things. Number 1, science and technology, especially focused on health system. That will determine how developed we are and how prosperous we shall remain and how vibrant we shall remain. And number 2, we need to focus on the global unrest, whether during this COVID-19 situation or in the post-COVID-19 situation, whether we are at all capable to mitigate these unrestful situations by employing political means, and for that matter, administrative means and diplomatic cooperation between countries. And number three, which is the most important thing, there are many hypotheses to support my anticipation. That is, with the rise of viral infection, with rise of diseases, with the degradation of the health system, as we know, religious and cult-based belief systems, which are not necessarily always logical and rational, they also rise. So our foreign policies need to address these three things. And thus, I believe we shall move forward and we shall prosper and we shall enjoy fruition. I thank all the participants for being patient and kind. And moreover, it is a great honor for me to be in this program today, where the chief guest is our Honorable Faruk Khan MP. I must say that he was the first political person who actually took me to his area to address his people. I still remember that, and that was my first exposure in a public meeting. I'm very grateful, and I'm very grateful to all of you. Thank you so much, and special thanks to Ambassador Farooq Sobhan. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu.